2020 CCR 0119, State of Texas versus Priscilla Nicole Dominguez. And 2020 CCR 0121, State of Texas versus Priscilla Nicole Dominguez. And we have a plea bargain on all three of those cases.
That is correct, Your Honor. Good morning, Chuck Madigan for the state of Texas.
Okay.
And Judge, before we proceed, the court reporter did make a note that yesterday when we were taking pleas, the defendants weren't being sworn in. So we want to make sure to get that done this morning.
Well, that's a good idea. Can the court reporter swear them in, or the clerk?
Good morning. Yes, I can, Your Honor.
Yeah, okay. Let's go ahead and swear in then Priscilla Dominguez.
Ms. Dominguez, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Ms. Dominguez, I have 3 pleas from you in different matters. And I presume they will run concurrently, so we'll go through each one individually. But having said that, with respect to the pleas, have you had an opportunity to discuss the plea agreements with your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you entering these plea agreements based upon your own volition, your voluntary act?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And with regard to all 3 pleas, after having had your federal and state constitutional and statutory rights fully explained to you by your attorney in the record in this case, as well as the procedural requirements, rights, and safeguards afforded to you by laws of the state of Texas, including the privilege against self-incrimination, the right of appearance, confrontation, and cross-examination of witnesses to be used against you, and the right to trial by jury, you are deliberately and knowingly agreeing and consenting together with your counsel to waive appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses against you, and you further waive the right of trial by jury with the consent of the state and ask that this case be tried without a jury. Is that your understanding and agreement?
Yes, sir.
And do you waive all formalities of the arraignment and the reading of the indictment and the voluntarily and freely plead guilty today as charged in the indictment in each of the 3 cases?
Yes, sir.
And have you been treated for mental illness? You've never been treated for mental illness, and no one has suggested that you receive treatment for mental illness. Is that correct?
No, sir. Oh, well, that is correct. Sorry.
Okay. And you believe yourself to be competent today and on the same time, and competent on the date of the commission of the offense?
Yes, sir.
No one has threatened you in any way, used any force of any kind on you, or placed you in fear, and you're not pleading guilty because of fear. Is that
No,
correct?
sir. Yes, that's correct.
And no one has promised me anything to induce you to plead guilty. You're not pleading guilty by reason of persuasion. You're pleading guilty because you are guilty. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you're not pleading guilty with the delusive hope of pardon in your case. You have no hope of pardon. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
You need to say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the first case, basically, then I might find you guilty at this time in each of the 3 offenses. The first offense was a Class B misdemeanor with confinement in county jail for up to a term of 180 days, in addition to a fine not to exceed $2,000. And in that particular case, we're going to be deferring adjudication for 2 years. And the following: payment of court costs, attorney fees, a fine of $1,500, and restitution of $180. And we're also looking at CSR for 120 hours to be completed 10 hours within 10 months. We're also looking to have you do alcohol and drug evaluation and counseling. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
And all standard conditions of probation will be utilized, random UAs and cost of testing, and that this case be transferred to Bexar County State, Bexar County, and that you'll be paying the the transfer fees, and that there'll be employment services or enrollment in a post-secondary education program.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In this case, we'll be running concurrently with 2020 CCR 0119. This case will be running concurrently with 2020 CCR 0121 and 2020 CR 0038A. With that, basically, I find guilty and assess the 2 years deferred adjudication and all the fees that are added onto the sentence as per the plea agreement.
Your Honor,
Anything else?
I'm sorry, just for clarification, she's also to complete a 15-hour drug education program and to get her GED if she does not have a high school diploma. Your Honor.
That is correct. That is so ordered as well. I have to look to the right side to see the other. Sorry about that.
No, sorry,
Okay. And with that, is there anything else further in this case?
Your Honor,
In the
this time,
0118 case?
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
the state would enter into evidence states exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1 being a judicial admission to the offense charge, Your Honor.
Without objection, Your Honor.
Those exhibits are admitted. Anything further on the
Yes,
2020
Your Honor.
CCR 118 case?
John Estrada with probation. Is the defendant in Bear County at this time, or is she here in Raymondville?
She's in Bear County.
Okay, then she's going to need to call this office once we're done with these proceedings so that we can process her and put her on probation with us.
You hear that,
Number, ma'am?
Priscilla?
Yes, sir.
You have the number? Okay.
I don't have the number, actually.
You don't have the number?
No, sir.
The number is 956 689 2392.
2392?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I got it.
Okay, we now turn to 2020 CCR 110119, State of Texas, Priscilla Nicole Dominguez. We have just read through all the admonitions, and you have agreed to each of the admonitions in the earlier statements. State, do we have additional exhibits to present?
Your Honor, yes, sir. In this cause, 2020 CCR 119, the state would offer states exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1 being a judicial admission to the offense charged. This is a possession of marijuana, Class B, range of punishment no less than 0 days up to 180 days in the county jail with an additional $2,000 fine. That's optional.
Any comments from the defense?
No, Your Honor, no objection to the entry of the evidence. We've stipulated to it.
Okay, the evidence is so admitted into the record. I find that the defendant is guilty and that the sentence shall be 2 years deferred adjudication, and that the following also be imposed. Court costs to be paid within 90 days, attorney fees to be paid within 90 days, fine of $1,500 to be paid within 90 days, restitution, 180, actually the fine, let's leave that open for $1,500. Restitution of $180 to be paid to Wessico Lab. CSR for 120 hours to be completed within 10 months. Alcohol, drug evaluation, counseling, all standard conditions of probation, random UAs and costs for testing, transfer to the Bear County, defendant to pay the transfer fee, employment services, or enroll in a secondary, post-secondary education program, GED classes, and 15 hours DOEP. And this case is run concurrent with 2020 CCR 0118, 2020 CCR 0121, and 2020 CR 0038-A. Is there anything else we need to do with regard to this particular case?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor, no.
Okay, with that, we turn to C 2020 CCR 0121, State of Texas versus Priscilla Nicole Dominguez. We have read the admonitions. Any other proceeding? The defendant has agreed to the admonitions as so read.
Your Honor,
State, do we have any exhibits?
State offers states exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1 being judicially admitted to the offense charged in this case, which is possession of controlled substance, Class A misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in the county jail and a $4,000 fine, Your Honor.
Without objection, Your Honor.
The exhibits are so admitted into the record. At this time, I find the defendant guilty of the crime indicted for. And for the guilty plea, basically, we have 2 years deferred adjudication that will be entered. Court costs, attorney fees, fine, restitution as stated in the documents. Alcohol, drug evaluation, counseling, all standard conditions of probation, random UAs and costs for testing, transfer to Bexar County with the defendant to pay the transfer fee, employment services or enroll in a post-secondary program, seeking the GED, if no high school diploma, and 15 hours DOEP. This cause will, or sentence will run concurrent with 2020 CCR 0118, 2020 CCR 0119, and 2020 CR 0038-A. The sentence is so ordered. Do we have any comments or any other further activities that need to be done in this particular case?
Nothing from the defense.
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
And Ms. Gonzalez, I'll sign the orders and send them to you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I actually have them printed out. You're excused from
you.
this particular proceeding. Thank you.
Thank you,
And don't
Judge.
forget to call the probation office.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. The next case we are calling is 2021 CCR-0004, State of Texas versus Christina Ledesma. Is she present?
I'm here, sir. I'm here.
Okay.
Jason Collin with Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid on behalf of Ms. Ledesma.
Okay. Any comments from the state or from defense counsel before we go into the admonishments?
State's ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Okay.
Sorry, Your Honor.
If we could, let's swear in Ms. Ledesma.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Ledesma, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Ledesma, I have in my hands a plea agreement that you have signed. Have you had an opportunity to read this plea agreement with your counsel?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you signed the document, were you signing on your own voluntary will and not
Yes.
because of force or otherwise? Okay.
Yes, sir.
I read a few admonishments, and basically, if you'll agree or disagree with me as I read the
Okay.
admonishments. Ms. Dominguez, after having had your federal and state constitutional and statutory rights fully explained to you by your attorney of record in this case, as well as the procedural requirements, rights, and safeguards allowed to you by the laws of the state of Texas, including the privilege against self-incrimination, the right to appearance, confrontation, and cross-examination of witnesses to be used against you, and the right to trial by jury, you are deliberately and knowingly agreeing and consenting, together with your counsel, to waive the appearance, confrontation, and cross-examination of witnesses against you in this cause, and further waive your right to trial by jury with the consent of the state and ask that your case be tried without a jury. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your Honor, for the record, this is Ms. Ledesma.
Oh, I am so sorry, Ms. Ledesma.
Okay.
Let me turn the page. There we go. Sorry about that. I apologize. And do you formally do you waive all formalities of arraignment and reading of the indictment and voluntarily and freely plead guilty as charged in the indictment?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And have you been treated for mental illness, or has anyone suggested that you should receive treatment for mental illness?
No, I'm not mental illness.
And do you believe yourself mentally competent now and were so at the same time of the offense?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone threatened you in any way, used any force of any kind against you, or placed you in fear, and you're not pleading guilty because of fear? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And no one has promised you anything to induce you to plead guilty, and you are not pleading guilty by reason of any persuasion. You're pleading guilty because you are guilty. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you're not pleading guilty with the delusive hope of a pardon in this case, and you have no hope of pardon. You understand that? Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. At this time, does the state have any additional exhibits that need to be tendered to the record?
Yes, Your Honor, state would offer state's exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1 being judicial admission to the offense charged, which is a driving while intoxicated Class A, punishable by up to 1 year in the county jail and a $4,000 fine, Your Honor.
No
We'd
objection, Your Honor.
We'd ask that they, the admissions be admitted without objection, that the stipulated jurisdiction, Your Honor.
Defense counsel?
No objection, Your Honor, and so stipulated.
The exhibits will be so admitted into the record for all purposes in this case. Is this her first offense or later offense as far as the driving while intoxicated?
Your Honor, the facts of this case or the reason for the Class A are, if you'll bear with me 1 second. Trying to find your report, Your Honor. Hold on. Your Honor, this was the result. This is the result of a traffic stop welfare check by DPS trooper on January 18th, 2020. Ms. Ledesma was the driver of a vehicle that was found to be perpendicular in a lane on a road in Willacy County, Texas. It was a 1 vehicle crash. Ms. Ledesma was transported to the hospital, Your Honor. And
I was curious if this was her first offense or not.
I'm trying to see if this was because of a 0.15 or if this was what was the exact reason, Your Honor? I apologize. I'm looking at the report.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes, sir.
to respond to Mr. Mattingly's inquiry, the reason for the Class A misdemeanor is because of the blood alcohol content reading. It was above 0.15.
Okay.
That's correct, Your Honor. That's how she was indicted. that the blood alcohol concentration at the level at the time of the offense was above a 0.15, Your Honor.
Okay, that should be sufficient. Thank you. At this time, I find the defendant guilty and I'm sentencing her to 12 months probation and the following: payment of court cost, payment of attorney fees, payment of a fine in the amount of $250, restitution under advisement, CSR 60 hours to be completed within 6 months, AA-NA meetings, 1 per week for 12 months, alcohol drug evaluation counseling, the ignition interlock or an in-home device for 1 year, random UAs and costs for testing, employment services or enrollment in a post-secondary education program, VAV film, victim impact panel, defensive driving, GED if she has no high school diploma, 12 hours DWI classes. With the additional thought or sentence, 6 days in county jail to be completed on weekends on non-consecutive days within 3 months of probation. And that's at the end of my sentencing. Is there anything that else that needs to be heard in this particular case?
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Anything from the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
Y'all stand excused.
Ms.
Thank you for coming.
Ledesma, can you come
Yes.
into our office for processing? At the-
We're at
We're right behind the old courthouse.
the old courthouse in Brownsville?
No, in Raymondville.
Oh, okay, Raymondville. The old, I know where I go to the courthouse, but right
We're
across from the tax
The
office?
courthouse, we're right across the street from the courthouse.
Okay. Right now I don't have no vehicle, but what day you want me to, as soon as I can?
We need you to come in by today.
By today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what do I need or what time or what?
Just need to come in with your ID and that's it.
Okay, all right then.
And Your Honor, did you say 6 days in county jail done on weekends? Or
I'm
60?
sorry?
Did you say 6 days county jail or 60 days?
I believe it was 6 days.
6 days? Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
That is correct, Your Honor. It's 6 days. It's a mandatory sentence for a Class A with a alcohol concentration above 0.15.
Yes, it was exactly as proposed in the plea bargaining agreement.
Thank you, Your Honor.
No deviation.
Ms. Ledesma, I'll be in touch with you later to discuss the details. Your Honor, may Ms. Ledesma be excused at this time?
She may be excused. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The last case I have, unless you tell me otherwise, Ms. Gonzalez, is the Eric Cardenas Solomon case.
We did add,
2021.
we did add one more, that's just a status from yesterday. 2017 CCR 0235, the state of Texas versus Noe Nieves Tamez. And the attorney requested to put them back today to address his absence yesterday.
Not a problem. Are they present in the courtroom?
Yes, Your Honor. Jason Collin with Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid on behalf of Mr. Tamez. He is here on the call.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was looking for him on the screen. There you go. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Excuse me.
Your Honor, this
details?
case- I'm so sorry, Your Honor.
Now, the details of the case,
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
So this is a case for a DWI that was previously set for status. We had originally agreed to a pretrial diversion, but logistically it wasn't feasible for Mr. Tamez at the time. So we were going to ask for a reset. We also wanted to address the capias on this matter that was issued yesterday. This was a result of my own fault in terms of not having the right number to communicate with Mr. Tamez. Once he was able to reach me, he did make efforts and he is here on the call now this morning. So we are asking if the court would consider recalling the capias on this matter.
State, what comments do we have?
Your Honor, I believe he has appeared at his hearings in the past. However, I don't understand the delay in getting this pretrial diversion. I mean, it's the best offer that we can possibly make him. He's had it before him. Looks like take it back. He failed to appear on July 16th, 2018, and he failed to appear on October, I'm not sure if that's 14 or 19, 2020, Your Honor. So this is not the first time he's failed to appear. We're opposed to you recalling capias at this time.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes, you may.
We
the,
ask that you recall, we ask that you not recall the capias, Your Honor, and that you ask him to turn himself in before the end of the day.
Your
Mr.
Honor,
Tom?
if I may, yes. Mr. Thomas has been attending all of his court sessions since we have became his counsel back in late 2020, specifically December 2020. He has made all of his court appearances since then. Mr. Thomas is not an absconder. We are asking that you would consider recalling the capias here. The only reason that he did not appear in court yesterday was a fault of communication on my end, not his. We are asking that you would consider recalling here.
At this time, I may go ahead and recall. I don't believe that he should be punished for something the counsel did, the defense counsel, or did not do. So we already recall the capias at this point in time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And with that, the status hearing, as far as the pretrial diversion, where are we at on that?
Your Honor, as far as the pretrial diversion is concerned, we still need to coordinate with the state. I have reached out to them as of last week. I am open to seeing what offers they'd be willing to make. Mr. Tamez had financial difficulties, which is why he was unable to complete the program or at least sign up for the program on his last status hearing. The situation has changed. Mr. Tamez is employed now. We're asking for a brief reset so we can continue speaking with the state and see if we can resolve this matter.
Okay. State, do you have any comments?
Your Honor, I have no objection to having a small reset. However, the agreement or the offer that has been made is now off the table and we're starting from the beginning.
We
Ms. Vaughn, you
understand.
understand that?
We understand that, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's go ahead and reset this case then. I believe September is pretty heavy at the moment. How are we doing in October?
We can do the October 6th setting, Judge.
Okay, let's go ahead and set it for October 6th then.
Thank you, Your Honor. May Mr. Tamez be excused at this time?
You may be excused.
And
Thank
I
you.
do believe that concludes every matter that Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid has set for this morning. May we be excused as well, Your Honor.
You may be excused.
Thank you. Have a good day.
And Judge, on the last two cases, for Eric Godwin Salomon, we do have the interpreter on now. However, we are waiting for the jail to get on. They should be on here in a few minutes.
Okay. And did we ever receive the second plea? I
Yes,
only
sir.
have one.
I forwarded it to you a few minutes ago.
Nothing like speed reading. Okay, I believe we have a defendant in Present. I'm going to call both cases at the same time, like we did before. The first case is going to be the 2021 CCR-0073, State of Texas versus Eric Cardenas Salomon. And the second case is 2020 CCR-00118, State of Texas versus Eric Cardenas Salomon.
And Judge, just a correction on that one. The second case number should be 2021 CCR 0122. I made a clerical error there on the docket. And the court reporter is also going to swear in the interpreter before we get started.
If we could go ahead and have the defendant sworn in.
Señor Salomón, levante su mano derecha para que lo pongan bajo juramento.
Mr. Perales, may we start with swearing you in as the interpreter? Thank you, sir. Do you solemnly swear that the interpretation you will give will be from English to Spanish and from Spanish to English to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do. Ya el intérprete está bajo juramento de interpretar todo fiel y correctamente en la audiencia.
Okay, Mr. Cardenas Solomon has his right hand raised. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Señor Cárdenas Salomón, usted jura y afirma que su testimonio aquí ante el juez será la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad. ¿Lo jura? Yes.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank
Puede
you.
bajar la mano. Puede bajar la mano, señor.
Any initial comments from the state or the defense?
Yes, good morning, Your Honor. Derek Reyna here on behalf of Mr. Solomon. I'm going to be stepping in for Mr. Ernie Hernandez. I know he was appointed on the 2021 CCR. I think it's the 0073. If it's okay with the court, just go ahead and do the plea for him on that one, seeing that, you know, same client.
Your Honor, state has no objection. We're ready to proceed.
Algunos,
Let's go ahead and proceed on both cases then.
muy bien, algunos comentarios por los abogados antes de empezar en la audiencia. Se presenta Derek Reyna sustituyendo a Ernie Hernández, quien estaba asignado a representar el caso 0073 del señor Cárdenas Salomón, ya que hay dos casos y son para la misma persona, sería mejor resolverlos en una misma audiencia. No hay objeción por la fiscalía a que se haga de esta manera. Entonces se llevará a cabo y se resolverán los dos casos a la misma vez en esta audiencia a continuación.
Your Honor, also one more comment. We didn't submit the agreement or the waiving for the closed video conferencing. Is there any way that we can prove that up in open court for the record?
That'd be fine with me, state.
Your Honor, as long as they waive the fact, they understand that this is their plea and it's done by video conferencing, we have no objection to waiving that form.
Otra cosa más, la defensa se nos pasó presentar el documento sobre el acuerdo a que se llevara a cabo la audiencia por video en una sesión cerrada, pero podemos hacer preguntas para aprobar esto aquí en la audiencia pública. No hay objeción por la fiscalía siempre y cuando la defensa esté de acuerdo que esta audiencia es la audiencia oficial en donde se va a resolver el caso sin tener que ir a juicio y que el acusado dé su contestación al cargo.
Now, Mr. Solomon, do you consent to having today's hearing via Zoom?
Señor Salomón, ¿usted entonces autoriza a que se lleve a cabo su audiencia para resolver el caso mediante esta plataforma de Zoom por video?
Sí.
Yes.
No further questions. We can proceed.
No hay más preguntas en cuanto a esta sección. Ahora estamos listos para proceder.
Okay, with regard to both of the two cases, I read some admonishments to you, and if you'll say whether I'm correct or incorrect as I admonish you.
Señora, a continuación, con respecto a estos dos casos, se le va a dar ciertas advertencias, escúchelas y al final confirme si son correctos o no correctos cuando le lea estas advertencias.
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Cardenas Salomon, after having had your federal and state constitutional and statutory rights fully explained to you by your attorney in this case, as well as the procedural requirements, rights, and safeguards afforded to you by laws of the state of Texas, including the privilege against self-incrimination, the right to appearance, confrontation, and cross-examination of witnesses to be used against you, and the right to trial by jury, you deliberately and knowingly agree and consent, together with your counsel, to waive the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses against you in this cause, and further waive the right of trial by jury with the consent of the state, and that you've asked that the trial court proceed without a jury. Is this correct?
Señor, entonces, después que su abogado ya haya repasado sus derechos bajo la Constitución a nivel federal y estatal y ha acordado en renunciar a sus y le han explicado estos procedimientos, derechos y medidas precautorias, incluyendo su derecho a no incriminarse, su derecho a poder enfrentar a los testigos que lo han acusado y de interrogar a los testigos que lo han acusado y su derecho de llevar su caso a juicio. Después que su abogado le ha explicado a usted todos estos derechos, usted deliberadamente y con conocimiento renuncia a esos derechos, el de poder enfrentar a los testigos que lo han acusado y el derecho a poder llevar su caso a un juicio ante un jurado. Usted renuncia a estos derechos deliberada y con conocimiento, señor, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you hereby waive all formalities of arraignment and reading of the indictment and voluntarily and freely plead guilty as charged in the indictment?
Entonces usted también renuncia a todas las formalidades con respecto a la lectura del cargo y la lectura de la acusación del gran jurado y usted contesta culpable libremente por su propia voluntad?
Sí, culpable.
Yes, guilty.
In this case, actually in these two cases, have you ever been treated for mental illness? And has anyone ever suggested that you receive treatment for mental illness?
En estos dos casos, ¿alguna persona en el pasado o personal médico le ha sugerido a usted o le ha dicho que usted padece de algún trastorno mental?
No, nunca. Gracias a
No,
Dios.
no, never has that happened, thank God.
And do you believe yourself mentally competent now and that you were mentally competent at the time of the offense?
Y usted siente que goza de sus facultades mentales el día de hoy y que también las gozaba de ellas cuando ocurrió los cargos?
Sí.
Yes.
Has anyone threatened you in any way, used any force of any kind against you, or placed you in fear? And you're not pleading guilty because of fear. Is that correct?
¿Alguna persona lo ha amenazado a usted o lo ha forzado o lo han aterrorizado para que declare culpable el día de hoy? Usted no está declarando culpable a fuerza, ¿correcto?
No, nadie.
No, I'm not. No one has.
Has anyone promised you anything to induce you to plead guilty?
¿Alguien le ha prometido cualquier otra cosa para provocarlo a usted declarar culpable hoy?
No, nadie.
No, no one has.
And you're not pleading guilty by any reason of persuasion. You're only pleading guilty because you are guilty.
Y tampoco está declarando culpable porque alguien la está tratando de persuadirlo. Es decir, solamente está contestando culpable porque sí fue culpable. ¿Eso es así?
Sí, sí, soy culpable.
Yes, that's right. That's why I'm guilty.
And you're not pleading guilty with any delusive hope of pardon in your case, and you have no hope of pardon. Do you understand that?
Y también que conste, usted no está declarando culpable porque tiene alguna esperanza que alguien le va a dar un perdón de este cargo, ¿correcto?
Sí.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Gracias.
At this time, I will find the defendant guilty. And with regard to punishment in the case, one observation we didn't talk about. He does understand this is a plea bargain and he has no right to appeal. Does he understand that?
Entonces voy a declarar culpable a este acusado y hay que repasar una cosa más. El acusado, hay que entender, señor, que usted mismo negoció con la fiscalía para resolver el caso y como resultado usted no puede apelar la decisión. ¿Entendido?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. At this time, I adjudge the defendant guilty in exchange of a plea of guilty to the entire complaint and information in clause number 2021 CCR-0073. I find that the defendant should be sentenced to a period of 180 days in county jail, and that this just run to concurrent with the clause number 2021 CCR-0122, and that the defendant is to be given credit for time served.
Entonces lo declaro culpable y con respecto, ya que he aceptado la contestación de culpable a este cargo que se encuentra en la denuncia y en la acusación formal, impongo la siguiente sentencia. En el número de caso 2021 CCR 0073, impongo la condena de 180 días en la cárcel del condado. Esta sentencia se cumplirá simultáneamente con el otro caso número 2021 CR 0122 y se le dará crédito por el tiempo que ha cumplido hasta el momento.
In addition, I find that the defendant should pay court costs within 90 days of his release from jail, pay attorney fees within 90 days from his release from jail, and I believe that is it.
También ordeno que este acusado pague las costas judiciales del caso dentro de los 90 días de haber salido de la cárcel y también que pague los honorarios de la representación del abogado también dentro de 90 días de haber salido de la cárcel. Creo que eso es todo en cuanto a esto.
With respect to 2021 CCR-02122, I likewise find the defendant guilty as set forth in the indictment.
Your Honor, if I may,
Yes,
just
sir.
Housekeeping matters. In 2021 CCR 0073, state offers states exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1 being a judicial admission to the offense charged. We ask they be accepted without objection and that they stipulate to jurisdiction. And cause number 2021 CCR 0122, Your Honor. This complaint information was filed on August the 2nd. So it's important that the defendant and defense counsel waive their 10 days to prepare. I asked if they do that on the record.
I have no objection, Your Honor, to that.
Su señoría, la fiscalía tiene que hacer tiene que constar ciertas cosas en actas para que todo conste bien. Con respecto al caso 2021 CCR 0073, la fiscalía presenta los documentos de prueba 1, 2, 3 y 4, que son las admisiones o confesiones judiciales del acusado. Se pide que el juez los tome como cierto, sin objeción por la defensa, y que también se estipule con respecto a la jurisdicción. Ahora, en cuanto al caso 2021 CCR 0122, esta información, la denuncia y la acusación formal del gran jurado se había presentado ante tribunales el día 2 de agosto apenas. Por eso es importante pedir que la defensa renuncie a su derecho de tener 10 días para prepararse para juicio. No hay objeción por la defensa en cuanto a esto.
Your Honor, with that objection being waived to the 10 days to prepare, the state is ready to proceed. We offer states exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1 being a judicial admission to the offense charge, which in this case is an assault, Class A. And Your Honor, if you look at states exhibit 1 in the plea papers, there was a scrivener's error. It says Class B misdemeanor. It's actually a Class A. I would ask that you interlineate and make that correction at this time. It does not change the nature of the offense. It's just it was a clerical error.
That change is so noted and so made.
I'm sorry.
That change is so noted and so made.
Thank you, Your Honor. And like I said, we offer State's Exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 at this time. We ask that they be accepted without objection and that they stipulate to jurisdiction.
Ahora entonces, ya que la defensa no tiene objeción sobre esos 10 días adicionales para prepararse para juicio, la Fiscalía presenta los documentos de prueba 1, 2, 3 y 4, la prueba 1 siendo la confesión judicial del acusado. Una cosa más también hay que corregir. El cargo es un delito de agresión, un delito no grave clase A. Sin embargo, en la prueba de cargo 1, hay un error que se tiene que corregir. El error es que indica que es un delito no grave clase B, pero en realidad es un delito no grave clase A. Así que se pide que el juez haga esa corrección. No cambia nada con respecto a la sentencia recomendada ni nada, solamente hay que corregirlo. Así que el juez hace esa corrección y ya que eso se ha corregido, de nuevo sí se presenta de nuevo los documentos de prueba 1, 2, 3 y 4, la prueba 1 siendo la confesión judicial del acusado, que se pide que se tome cierto, sin objeción y que se estipule en cuanto a jurisdicción.
And for a housekeeping matter, I'm reopening the evidence for the purpose of admitting the state's exhibits without objection. And so find the guilty and find the sentencing that was made to be in check. Is there any comments with regard to 2021 CCR-0073?
Oh, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Entonces, para constar todo bien de nuevo, estamos abriendo de nuevo la sesión para hablar sobre las pruebas presentadas y de nuevo consta la declaración y se le declara culpable al acusado y se confirma de nuevo la sentencia anteriormente impuesta que es correcta. Y con respecto a este caso 2021 CCR 0073, ya que no hay objeción adicional por los abogados defensores ni por la fiscalía.
We now turn to 2021 CCR 0122. We've had a request for admission of exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I believe there was no objection to these exhibits, correct?
No objection, Your Honor.
I admit the exhibits into evidence.
Ahora, de nuevo, hablamos sobre el caso 2021 CCR 0122. Se había presentado las pruebas de cargo 1, 2, 3 y 4. Sin objeción por la defensa, esas pruebas son aprobadas en actas.
And basically, in exchange for a plea of guilty to the entire complaint of information, the defendant is hereby sentenced to 200 days county jail. This sentence is to run concurrent with 2021-CCR-0073, and the defendant is to be given credit for the time served.
Así que se le declara culpable de este cargo presentada ante la denuncia y la acusación del gran jurado y se le sentencia a 200 días en la cárcel del condado y esa sentencia se cumplirá simultáneamente con la otra sentencia bajo número de caso 2021 CR 0073 y sí se le dará crédito por los días cumplidos hasta el momento.
In addition, I assess court costs to be paid within 90 days of release and attorney fees to be paid within 90 days of release. And that will be it for the sentencing.
Y aparte también se ordena que el acusado pague las costas judiciales de este caso dentro de 90 días de haber salido de la cárcel y también los honorarios de abogado, también que él los pague dentro de los 90 días de haber salido de la cárcel. Y creo que eso es todo con respecto a la imposición de la sentencia.
I believe that so concludes the proceeding for,
Judge, can I make one comment?
yes, ma'am.
In these cases, because these plea papers were submitted and there is no current address for the defendant as he is in custody and he didn't provide a mailing address for us, we will need the attorney to contact us once the defendant is released with a good mailing address. That way we can send out a judgment.
Secretaria, se presentan los siguientes comentarios, puesto que no se consta una dirección oficial para el señor Salomón, puesto que él está en custodia. Después que él salga de la cárcel y pueda proporcionar la dirección, que el abogado defensor se comunique al tribunal con la dirección actualizada del señor Salomón y así se le puede enviar las copias de la sentencia oficial del juez.
Well, Your Honor, I'll get with Ms. Gonzalez on that. Not a problem.
Así se hará, el abogado hablará con la señora González en los tribunales para darle la información.
Is there anything further with regard to the second proceeding?
No, Your
State
Honor.
Defense
No, Your
Counsel? Okay. We adjourn this particular proceeding and the defendant may be released.
Entonces ya no hay nada más.
Returned.
Entonces ya no hay nada más con respecto a eso, la segunda audiencia tampoco del señor Salomón. Así que ya concluye las dos audiencias y el señor Salomón puede seguir las instrucciones del carcelero.
Thank you, Your Honor.
¿Para cuándo me dejan ir?
So when am I going to be able to get out of jail?
Mr. Solomon, if you want, I'll give you a call after this hearing and discuss that with you.
Señor Salomón, el señor Reina le va a llamar por teléfono para hablar de eso en privado con usted y darle más detalles.
Gracias. Dios bendiga su vida. Gracias.
Okay. Thank you. God bless
Will
you.
you be
Thank you.
excused, Your Honor?
Thank you.
May we be excused?
You may be excused.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Your
Thank
Honor,
you for your
that's all I have.
professionalism.
May I be excused, Your Honor?
You may be excused.
Thank you, sir. Nice to see you.
Is the interpreter needed anymore?
Don't believe so.
Thank you, Judge.